Well, there's a history of women. We chose a history of black women. However, that exhibit is going to go over there, and Amy is just Dr. Colbert is working on an exhibit on the history of communication, language, and so on, right? So let us then walk down this way and start at the beginning. And so we're going to keep right past you. So here we start off again. This is Seattle, and so we have a little bit of the history of Seattle, right? Which is really mostly Western pilgrims arriving over here. And you have then the old telephones and music boxes and weaving and spinning wheels and all of that. Sort of thinking through the salesman model of the old stoves that they had in those days, right? Washing boards and so on. But we'll start off our tour really, right, remembering city of Seattle. His daughter was called Princess Angeline. So we sort of remember here the beginning of it all. This is 1811, and she died in 1896. It's just a little bit remembering her life in Seattle. Now, this is where we now transition over into the theory of continental drift. At one time, it was thought and suggested that maybe that the Earth was just one planet, and then fault lines and so on separated, but nobody knew how to prove it. So Dr. Colbert, who is my roommate, her father was in charge of the New York History Museum, and one day they brought a bone to him. There it is. There is Dr. Colbert, and there you have this little creature here, which is this very one. And they said to him, Dr. Colbert, tell us what is this? He said, yeah, this is a bone of a dinosaur. Where did you find it? And they said, oh, we found it in Antarctica. He said, no. Dinosaurs don't swim. What do you mean you found it in Antarctica? So he took a group of scientists and became very famous for that. There are lots of books written on his experiment. He went to Antarctica, and these are his actual factual field notes when they arrived down there and how they identified a whole group of dinosaurs, which then became the proving point that at one time they walked across the continent to get to Antarctica. They did not swim, right? So,
known as Pangaea.
Yes, that's correct. So, okay, hold this. All right. So people ask us, hey, what's the oldest thing you have here in the museum? How old is it? How old?
540 to 360 million years.
Years old. Let's just call it what it is, right? So we've got old stuff in here, right? And we have a whole lot more here, lots of different fossils and so on. But this is where we sort of have fun with the whole idea of mass extinction, dinosaurs and science and the geographical continental drift theory development, right? So, but staying with the topic for a minute of climate now. So here we go and talk a little bit about Richard St. Barbe Baker. He graduated in the UK. He was born in '89 and died in 1982. So after graduating in the UK, he went to the Sahara Desert. And he said, man, you guys need trees. And I said, yeah, we know we need trees. And so this year, 100 years ago, he then had what they call the Dance of the Tree ceremony when the Men of the Trees later became ITF, and this today known as the International Tree Foundation. We are a member of that. We are written up on their website in the UK, and it is only recently that the Great Green Wall initiative has come to fruition, and he wrote it up 100 years ago and proposed the idea, but it took a long time to realize if you don't plant trees, like we do right now in Brazil in the Amazon River, right, the consequences are detrimental. So Paul Handley knew and Richard St. Baker's come to Seattle 3 times, knew the importance of his contribution in the area of climate and trees, and wrote his biography with a foreword by King Charles III and Jane Goodall. He came here not too long ago and talked about the life of Richard St. Baker, who I may just privately say without putting any importance on it, but he was a Baha'i. So now